Phantom Knights is back, and not only is it more powerful than ever, it is more jank than ever, and I am absolutely for it. So this is a list that I sort of built after doing a lot of digging around on like Master Duel meta and things like that for successful Phantom Knights lists. And originally when I looked at those lists, I sort of thought to myself, I don't get it, right? I don't understand why these cards work, and like, why are we playing Makonko? Like, why am I seeing heroic challengers? Why was all of this here, right? What is happening? What is going on? And it wasn't until I picked it up and started playing it, and it all sort of clicked. It might have been 4 or 5 games in, and it just clicked in place. I'm like, oh my god, this deck might actually have the craziest, most consistent combo in the game. And that's not an exaggeration. I love this deck so much. The combo is just so brutal. It gets to the point, right, where your combo is so powerful that you will either win the game by going into it, right, instantly win the game, and it's super brutally consistent, or like realistically the only thing that stops it is like an expertly timed interruption or maxi if you don't have a negate. That is it. That's why we're playing every maxi kind of known to man, basically because we want to stop it as constantly as possible. Droll Knockbird stings yourself a little bit, but you can play through it. But yeah, it is honestly just brutal. All of the replays I have for you today are replays of the combo fully resolving and everything. There are going to be games where you don't resolve the combo, but that's literally usually just because like your opponent activates maxi. And then what? Like, what do you do, right? I don't want to put up a replay of me just passing turn because that's not very entertaining for you guys, right? That doesn't make sense. There are definitely times where you lose, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's 100% win rate, but this deck, it is honestly just insane. We're going to talk about the combo in the gameplay. It is a 2-card combo, any 2 level 3s on board, any 2. Full combo, right? Any 2, just by themselves. No like 2.5 card, no discard, no nothing. You just, any 2 cards. So let's get into it. If you're new to the channel, of course, and you want to catch more things like this, or maybe you want to catch our more regular deck profiles as we do them, you can of course subscribe to catch things as they're coming up. We've got a few replays lined up here, and we are going to do a speed run of the deck profile at the end of the video, so stick around and watch that. Like the video if you enjoy watching. Let's get into game number 1. Alright, getting into our first replay, I actually vaguely remember that this person put up a bit of a fight back when I was originally playing them. We're going to go Rhoda into Phantom Knight Torn Scales, and this, again, literally, any method of getting into 2 level 3s is full combo. So we're going to go for Torn Scales, dropping any cards from hand. They're going to go for the Ash Blossom here. I actually believe I let that resolve. I do, yeah, because I can play through that. That's fine. We actually don't lose to that. That's okay. We're going to link this off in the Salomon Grade Almirage. So now when we banish Phantom Knights of the Ragged Gloats from Grave, going to send Ancient Cloak. That's going to trigger Torn Scales to summon itself back to the field. Ancient Cloak then banishing itself, going to grab Silent Boots, special summon the Boots. There's your 2 level 3s, right? And the reason any 2 level 3s do it is because all you need to summon is the MX Saber Invoker. The moment you summon Invoker, so as long as your opponent doesn't have any more interruptions, this is the only card you need. This is full combo. And this is summoned by any 2 level 3s. So, we're just going to dive in. Invoker, gonna summon out from the deck the Morningstar. Morningstar searches for Heroic Call. Now, the reason this is important is this is 2 warriors you can use to go into Isolde. Isolde, what you search on activation here doesn't matter. Not part of the combo. This is nice for follow-up, but it's not important at all. The main part is this. Sending an equip spell to Grave to summon Renaud. Now, normally what you will send is this, the Makonko Water Arabesque. And why would you send that? Because on summon, your Renaud is going to add the equip spell back to your hand. Now, luckily, we already had the Makonko Water spell in hand, so we didn't need to send it. But again, imagine Living Fossil doesn't exist. Imagine we sent the Water Arabesque and we added Water Arabesque back to hand. Living Fossil is not part of the combo. It's just a nice fallback. So let's go for our Water Arabesque. We're going to target Renaud. Bounce Renaud back to hand to summon out our Hare. Hare searches for the Fire Dance. Nice follow-up. Now that we control a Fire Warrior monster, we can special summon Renaud. We just go into Sprite Elf because we can, because we have the backup materials from earlier in the turn. We're going to summon Cupid Pitch now off of our level 1 tuner and level 3 non-tuner. We're now going to boost it up to level 5 and use the Fire Dance to bring back the level 3 Hare from the graveyard. Again, we search for this card during the combo. Now we're going to give him back his Ash Blossom. I summoned Ash Blossom in his field because he may be playing Cash. We're now going to use the level 5 and level 3 to go into the Borreload Savage Dragon, triggering Cupid Pitch to search our deck for our Nemesis Corridor, right? Savage Dragon grabbing back the Isolde from the grave, grabbing, of course, Corridor, special summoning the corridor by bouncing back a banished card, tripping it off for Colossus. Any 2 level 3s get you this board. Again, you're going to summon Sprite Elf as an extender basically every single time, because if you get to this point, basically what you would have done with Isolde on the board if you didn't have another extender is you would have used Heroic Call to bring back your a warrior monster to use with your Isolde to bring out Sprite Elf so that you had a link engrave for your Borreload, right? So that you could always, this is essentially any 2 level 3s, all 3 of these monsters, which is a very, very difficult to deal with board, right? And that's before even considering all of the extra shit you can do from here. So we're going to go for Living Fossil, bringing back Torn Scales, Heroic Call, going to bring back the Hare. We're going to use these 2 to go into Cicada King as well. Cicada King being an excellent card. Now we're going to use Phantom Knight's Silent Boots from Grave. We're going to grab Fog Blade, which is another negate. We're going to go for Thrust as well. Thrust going to grab us an Imperm, and we're simply going to set free and pass. So we have 1 monster negate, 2 monster negates, 3 monster negates, an Omni negate, Floodgate, and we've got these guys being completely untargetable, as well as protection from the likes of Infinite Permanence or whatever from the Crossout Designator. Honestly, just incredible, right? And our opponent, actually, I do remember in this game, our opponent actually puts up a really good fight. They're going to go for the Rhinoheart here. We're going to Imperm that. That's fine. Imperm the Rhinoheart. Because we have negates to spur, right? We're not desperate for negates. So we're going to take out our Sprite Elf. That's whatever. Simply set 2 pass. I can live with that. That's okay. They're not able to search their deck for anything, thanks to Colossus. Of course, we're going to go for Jackalope. Normal the Jackalope to trigger the Kagemucha. Using these 2 to go into Break Sword, which normally would grant you a shitload of OTK power, but it does get flipped face down by Meta Noise. Not worth our Omni Negate for the turn. They're going to go for Tailwind's Kashtira. Again, not worth our Omni Negate. Flipping Cicada to attack mode, we're going to take out his monsters. We're going to inflict as much damage as we possibly can. Unfortunately, not lethal damage, because he flipped our Break Sword, but, you know, it is what it is. His resources are dwindling, and we still have so many interruptions on board. They're going to go for the Unicorn here. Birth bringing back Fenrir from the grave, actually putting up a decent amount of interruption. We are going to go for the Cicada King, though, negating the Fenrir. And the reason that's such a good play is because the Cicada King is a permanent negate. And upon negating, he switches himself to defense. So now he's too big, right? They're going to go for Unicorn, banish a card from our extra deck, but that Fenrir is permanently negated. It cannot use that banish effect again on my turn. They are going to normal summon out a tuner here to go into Chaos Ruler. And Chaos Ruler going to activate its effect. We're going to meet that with a Savage Dragon negate. I think that's about as reasonable an opportunity as any. You could counter and say that I should have used Fogblade there instead, which would make sense. But I still want to be able to get rid of it on my turn pretty handily, and I saw no reason not to. We're going to go Break Sword, simply swinging into the Unicorn and taking lethal. Right, we're not going to BM on him for no reason. We could have gone nuts using that Break Sword, but there's no point. There's the full combo and playing through a pretty decent attempt at trying to break it from our opponent. Let's get into game 2. Alright, let's keep learning these combo lines. Let's give it another shot. This time we're going to come at it from the perspective of something entirely different. We're going to go Rhoda to grab ourselves Ancient Cloak here, because now we're going to be using a different set of level 3s to go into the combo. We go Jackalope, dropping the cloak, drawing 1. Wielder basically can special summon itself to the field if you control a level 3. So an excellent draw, but we did have the Tsuchinoko, so it didn't really matter. We're going to grab Torn Scales, normal summoning the Torn Scales just because we want to have an extender. We're going to go into the Invoker here. That triggers off this guy, so if you draw into him, normally that's a problem because this guy only summons from deck, right? So you think that, oh, okay, combo ruined. But this guy can also just special summon himself from hand if you control 2 or more warriors, right? So if you summon the Invoker, just make sure you have another warrior, right? And you can just summon him and you're back to normal. And you just combo off, right? Heroic Call, it's as if nothing happened. Gonna use 2 to go in the Isolde, and from here the combo remains the same, but let's go over the lanes together so that we're learning them as we're going. I usually grab Kagemucha there just for follow-up for next turn. Sending an equip, summoning out the Renaud. Again, pretend that's the Arabesque. We got pretty lucky in opening it a few times. Using Arabesque, summoning the Hare. Hare searching for the Fire Dance, which we're going to use in the combo. We're going to go for Renaud into Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch then, boosting its level by 1. We're going to use the Makunko Fire Dance, bringing back the Hare. Tsuchinoko here just because we can. There was no real reason for me to do this, I just wanted to. We were playing Dark at this stage instead of Sprite Elf. Just imagine this is a Sprite Elf. Initially when I was like looking at it, nobody was playing Elf, and I couldn't figure out why, right? I wanted a better Link too. Eventually we realized we could just play Elf, which was infinitely better. So just pretend this is Elf. This was an earlier replay. Now we're going to go into Borreload Savage Dragon. The rest of the combo is identical though. Cupid Pitch, of course. Borreload Savage Dragon, activating their effects just like they did in the last duel. Again, the combo is just that rigid, right? It is very straightforward. Any 2 level 3s on the board, you can set up this play. That is the idea. Bouncing a card back for the corridor, summoning a Colossus. Now again, a lot of people have to go through all the effort of setting up like a Mecha Phantom Beast of Roared online for anything like that, but not only are you able to set up this board, you're also able to fall back upon a bunch of extenders, as well as, of course, the Phantom Knights cards themselves. We haven't even begun to show the strength of the Phantom Knights. Sending Ragged Gloves, we're going to go for Fog Blade here, setting a card. We got double Fog Blade, we have the Borreload, we have the Colossus, and we have so many extenders that it's actually not even funny. But our opponent came to play, right? They came out swinging. They're going to go Gamma Seal into Feather Duster. Holy shit. Raigeki as well. That is literally as aggressive as it could possibly get, but unfortunately for our opponent, Thunder Dragon Colossus is here to stay. Barely won that one. We hung on by the skin of our teeth. But a win is a win, and I want to show off more ways of just getting into the combos. The more we can show it off, the better. It's difficult to find replays where you get the full combo, because usually when you summon Invoker, your opponent scoops, right? They just leave. I had a really impressive win rate with this deck, but it wasn't because we were doing the full combo over and over. It was really consistent, trust me, but as soon as you summon Invoker, they leave. They just scoop. They're out. They know that you're cooking, they know that you're busy in the kitchen, and they want no part of it. They do not want the smoke. So you gotta take as many examples as you can get. Speaking of, I've got one more for you. Alright, getting into another game here. Pretty standard hand. Jackalope, we're going to drop the Wielder, which is a little annoying to summon out the Jackalope. Drawing into Fog Blade, which is nice though. Going into Invoker. Like, any 2 level 3s. I can't emphasize that enough. Even Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's a level 3. Any 2 level 3s. Full play. Invoker. Challenger, grabbing Heroic Call into Isolde. Isolde gonna grab the Kagemucha. That's just my default grab because I'm not gonna use it. Sending the Arabesque, summoning Renaud. Renaud's gonna grab back the Arabesque. We're gonna use it. Bounce Renaud back. Gonna summon Hare from the deck. Hare searches your deck for the Fire Dance. Again, every single duel is the same thing. If you like combos, if you like rigid combos, if your brain works that way, you're gonna love this deck. We're gonna bring back the Hare. Heroic Call, this is what I was saying before about the fact that you'll always be able to put Isolde in Grave because you search for Heroic Call. So you're able to go into Dark here. Again, imagine it's Sprite Elf. It's the same card. It's Sprite Elf. That's just a really fancy way of... This is just an alternative art of Sprite Elf, right? Alright, trust me. Borreload, Cupid Pitch, same thing. Again, it's just stupidly consistent. I was just super excited to play this deck because it's like, it was a cool way of playing Phantom Knights. We're going to banish Boots to grab ourselves a Brigandine. We could have grabbed another Fog Blade there, which arguably would have been better. But I was feeling spacey. I sort of thought to myself, I might be able to go into some extenders here and such. I don't believe I was able to extend very much. So it would have been better just grabbing another Fog Blade, but you know, it is what it is. Oh no, we do actually use it to go into the Rusty Bardiche, right? Rusty Bardiche is another route you can go down. We're going to send Ancient Cloak to set a Fog Blade, so there you go. Basically did the same thing. Ancient Cloak, we're going to banish it. We're going to grab ourselves Torn Scales, because Torn Scales is excellent follow-up, and we set Tomb Pass. So now we have Bardiche instead of Elf. This time, another McConkle player, and these Kaijus are fucking coming out swinging, right? They're gonna Kaiju over our Colossus. They're gonna Armory Call, sending Double-Edged Sword. We are of course gonna Ash that because fuck that, right? They have Called By though for our Ash Blossom, which is pretty annoying. We do decide fuck that, and we are gonna negate the negate of our negate for his search, right? We're gonna negate the negate of the negate, and we're gonna stop him from searching. Then he's going to go for Feather Duster, because of course he is. Because 2 duels... I should let you know, right? I can't emphasize this enough. This duel, and the last one you saw, both McConkle, both Crazy Opens, both Kaijus into Feather Duster, were back to back. One into the other. Right? This isn't me cherry pick. Like, it was brutal. These guys were coming out swinging, right? And the worst part is, he just opened up, or milled, sorry, the Armory Call. They're going to go for Opening Ceremony here, summoning the Ohime, or whatever the hell its name is, from the hand. They're going to use its effect, grabbing Double-Edged Sword, boosting up to 53 on the Kaiju, 53 to the face, and another 53 to the face. So there you go, taking a fat fucking L despite having such a crazy board, just because he managed to open the nuts, right? No strategy is impregnable. Simply doesn't happen. Doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a perfect strategy, and I wanted to show that off. But anyways, let's get into the deck profile. It's not very often I find myself playing very formulaic, combo-oriented strategies, but I simply couldn't pass this up. The more I played it, the more I enjoyed it, and I absolutely love playing it. The Phantom Knights are just so cool, and the combo is extremely powerful. It makes use of some of my favorite cards. It's just really hard to pass up. So if you're a big fan of sort of combo-oriented, like sort of rigid combo line decks, this is definitely one that's really not that hard to pick up, really not that hard to learn. And I had a blast with it, right? And there's a lot of other plays that I didn't even get to show off because people scoop so easily. Like we're running like the Arc Rebellion Exceed Dragon and things for crazy OTKs. Honestly, the deck is just super fun. It's super versatile. Everything about it is just great. Everything about it's great. I have no complaints about this deck at all. So, my one thing is that the deck does feel a little bit weak to... It feels very weak, sorry, to Maxi. Which is a problem, right? Because every deck's weak to Maxi. So we are playing a lot of counters to it. Duel does, in theory, of course, stop some of your plays. The only part of your end board that you end up missing out on is... what's its face? Oh, it's gonna bug me. Colossus. Jesus. You can do everything except Colossus if you play Duel to stop a Maxi. So again, you're able to set up a decent enough board, but you are missing that Colossus, which does hurt a lot, right? Colossus is fucking brutal. But yeah, let's go through the deck. Most of this I'm just going to blitz through because a lot of it's just level 3 extenders. Right, so in terms of hand traps, we got the Duel, I got triple Duel, triple Maxi, triple Ash Blossom. I didn't mean to take you out. We have Harpy's Feather Duster. We have, just as thrust targets, double thrust. We have Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, Talent, Abyss. All your standard targets, double Call By, single Crossout, double Imperm. And that does it for hand traps. Realistically, if you wanted to play this at 40 cards, you could just cut all hand traps and like commit to the combo. Which would be funny. But I do like hand traps, so it's up to you. So here's like the actual contents of the deck. So let's just talk about level 3 extenders super quickly. This guy special summons when you normal summon level 3. This will special summon itself from hand, special summon itself from hand, special summon from hand, special summon from hand. All just level 3 extenders. Generic, right? So that's grand. So then we've got our actual Phantom Knights. So Phantom Knights are basically a set of monsters that have effects that activate in the graveyard, right? So Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak can banish itself from the graveyard to add a Phantom Knights card from your deck to your hand. Pretty handy. Silent Boots can special summon itself from your hand to the field if you control another Phantom Knights monster, and can banish itself from the graveyard to search your deck for a Phantom Knight spell or trap. Pretty handy. The exception to the rule here is Phantom Knights of Torn Skeels, which is the most powerful of the Phantom Knights in my opinion. Where you can discard a card to send any Phantom Knights card from your deck to the graveyard. If another Phantom Knight is banished from the graveyard while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card as well. So this card's pretty damn versatile and helps you set up a lot of one-card combos, right? Because this card by itself does the full combo. Because it's able to very easily put another level 4 on board. You just use it, discard a card, send Cloak, Cloak adds Silent Boots, Special Boots. Now you've got 2 level 3s. Go nuts, right? That's the idea. So this guy is like the closest thing the deck has to a one-card combo. Well, he is a one-card, well, 1.5. He has to have a discard, but like he is a one-card combo. Then we got Phantom Knights of Stained Greaves. We're only running one of this because it's really not that great. If a Phantom Knight is special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from hand, and then you can increase its level by 1, or you can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon a Phantom Knight from hand and boost its level by 1. So the idea by the boosting of 1 is to try and go into Raider's Knight later on down the line, alongside your trap card, Brigadier. Which, you know, comes up sometimes, not super often, but it's neat enough for me to have him at 1. And we also have Ragged Gloves, which will banish itself to send another Phantom Knights card from deck to graveyard. Pretty versatile to open up with this. You do like having as many different effects available to you as possible, so it is definitely not a bad card to open up with. So for sure. And then we got the back row for the Phantom Knights, because that's all of the main... I guess, okay, well, I'll include Raider's Wing in this combo. So Raider's Wing, when in your hand or graveyard, you can detach the material off of a Dark Exceed on the field to special summon it, but it gets banished when it next leaves the field. And if this is ever on a Dark Exceed monster as material, that Dark Exceed cannot be targeted by card effects, which basically means that something like your Arc Rebellion Exceed Dragon, which already can't be destroyed by card effects, suddenly can't be targeted either, so it becomes a huge problem. Then we got the trap cards. We have the Phantom Knight's Wing. Ignore its first effect, it's useless, but its second effect means you can banish it from the graveyard to target a Phantom Knight's monster in graveyard and special summon it. Brigadeem will special summon itself out to the field as a normal monster, a level 4 Dark Warrior, which is very useful for link climbing as well as Exceed plays. And the reason it's useful is because if there's no traps currently in your graveyard, you can activate this card on the turn it was set, which is good. Fogblade. Fogblade is a continuous trap card that will target an effect monster in the field, and negates that monster's effects, prevents it from attacking, and prevents it from being selected as an attack target. Very useful in a lot of matchups, especially against Makonko, so Fogblade is really good. Unfortunately, the two Makonko players we went against both had Feather Duster, so sucks to suck, but it is what it is. It also possesses the same Graveyard Revival effect as the previous trap card, where you can revive a Phantom Knights from grave. Really solid cards. Phantom Knights do add a lot to the strategy overall, and they are right at home in a deck of level 3s. And that's pretty much it for the Phantom Knights. We have, of course, the combo pieces that are essential. You have your Renaud, you have your Hare. You only need the Hare, don't need any other Makonko monsters. The Water Equip and the Fire Equip. Having two Water Equip is optional. You could bump it up to 3 if you want, but 2 is fine. You could run it at 1 if you want to, but you really don't want to run the risk of not having another equip to send off of your Isolde, right? So that's why we play 2 of this, and why we play 1 Living Fossil as well, just in case. But yeah, again, I'm not going to sit and bend your ears over many more of the cards, because you saw them all in the gameplay and in the combos. You know exactly what they do, right? The only ones that we didn't play, is what I'll talk about, is the Raider's Knight and the Arc Rebellion Exceed Dragon. So we saw the gameplay, of course. Everyone knows how the actual main deck functions and how to do the main line, but we have another very aggressive play that allows us, going second, to take lives, and that is Raider's Knight. Summoned using any 2 Dark level 4s. This card can essentially detach a material to immediately rank itself up into the Arc Rebellion Exceed Dragon. Now this card cannot be destroyed by card effects right away, which is good. You can detach a material. It gains attack equal to the total original attack of every other monster on the field, and if one of its materials are dark, everything else on the field gets negated. So this card gets absolutely huge, and if it's equipped with Raider's Knight, it's untargetable. So it's untargetable, indestructible, and has like 10,000 attack. Pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie, pretty strong card. It is. Really good for going second, especially against the likes of Makonko, where you're able to just negate all of their monsters and then just wipe them out, right? So yeah, love that card, and how you go into that consistently, because I know you're looking at the main deck and you're thinking like, well, what is your plan? You're gonna you've got like 4 level 4 monsters and extenders in the deck. How are you gonna do it? Well, the main play you're gonna do to go into that is Break Knight. So Break Knight, you can detach a material to target a card you control and a card your opponent controls, destroy both. And then if this Exceed Summon card was destroyed, you get to target 2 Phantom Knight monsters in the graveyard with the same level, special summon both, and increase their levels by 1. So if you have 2 level 3 Phantom Knights in grave, you special summon both, boost them up to 4, and there's your Raider's Knight. Now of course, this is only really useful going second, because you have to be able to destroy an opponent's card, unless you have an alternative method of destroying this guy, which you don't. So it's only really useful going second, and again, it also locks you into Dark. There's no choke point in this deck other than Breaksword. Nothing else in the deck locks you into anything or restricts you in any way, but Breaksword does. So again, this is only really, you only want to use this when you're committing to either an Arc Rebellion play or an Access Code Talker play. Right, so that, just so we're all on the same page. But that's the whole deck. Again, if you're interested in each particular card and what each particular card does, just rewatch the gameplay. I can't say it in any clearer detail, in any clearer sequence than what we did in the gameplay. The same combo all 3 times, virtually identical, because any 2 level 3 monsters puts up the full end board of this deck. And then the Gravy is all of your Phantom Knight's Engrave, banishing to grab additional back row, or it's your equip spells and your Heroic Call getting additional Exceed monsters and doing whatever, right? So the Gravy is just sort of freestyle, but the combo remains the same with any 2 level 3 monsters. So that's everything I have to say on the deck. Again, if you want this, if you're interested in this style of deck going forward, it's not usually my cup of tea. I usually try to stay away from these super rigid, like 1, 2, 3 combo step decks. I like freestyle decks a little bit more, but I was a huge fan of this one, so I wanted to share it, right? So if you enjoyed it, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, like the video if you enjoyed watching. Of course, if you got this far, you must have liked something, right? There must have been something worth watching. So I would appreciate a like on the video if you don't mind, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.